What's going on, people? Welcome to our impressions of day one of E3 2017. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and I'm joined by Emilio Lopez
What's up, guys? How you doing?
and the silent Anthony Nash, who doesn't want to be on camera because he's busy working. All right, so just like we do every year, we're going to tell you our little experiences with E3 2017 or 2000, whatever. But we have a shared experience, man. Them fucking crowds.
Oh
Some
God.
bullshit. Okay, so in case you didn't know, this year they let like 1,500, no, excuse me, 15,000, like fans and shit into the show floor. Man, it is almost everything I feared. Like, because you gotta understand something, right? Like, guys like me and shit, like we're there to work, right? So it's hard to work when you got to get through a sea of fucking people, And this isn't like PAX where it's a little bit more organized. This is a like, don't get me wrong, everybody's behaving themselves and all that, but man, it is a fucking mess. It is bad. Like, I know you were like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, I knew that it was going to be kind of the front door was going to be mobbed because last year I got on that big old line to get into the building because
yeah,
in general the sorts of badges that I have, at least as of late, they're mostly like industry sorts of badges, and those badges don't exactly get the same sort of special treatment as maybe somebody from media. So you have to get on all the big lines and everything, just like everybody else. The only difference is that you can go into some parts of the building. Obviously, others can't.
yeah. Like for me, like I'm media, right? So I had an appointment with Warner Brothers. You guys saw me tweet about a Shadow War. So I had an appointment at 12. So I get to where I'm supposed to go to at like 11:40, and they're like, "Oh no, you got to wait on line." I'm media. What the fuck? Like, no, it doesn't matter. Get on that line. That shit didn't move until like pretty much 12.
Yeah.
Luckily, the people at Warner Brothers, they knew what the fuck was going on, so they delayed it by 15 minutes. Everybody was being late, and then the crazy thing is when I went to the presentation, there was nothing but fans in there. Like, okay, I get it, but come on, like you gotta let the professionals do their thing first. But yeah, very, very annoying on that front. A bunch of yellow badges, as I call them, everywhere. Pretty much everything I feared. Like, we'll get to that later, but I hope they don't. I'm not gonna say I hope they don't have fans again. I hope they organize it better. Because we were hanging out with our boy Fonzie, and he was telling us how took a game show. How was it again? It was like,
well, yeah, they have a specific day for they obviously have a specific days for the media and all that stuff, and then later on they let in all the fans and stuff. It's the same things with a lot of those shows, even the European shows too. Like was it
Gamescom? Yeah,
where they do that. Like they'll have the fans, the fans come in after, and I think that's really what needs to happen here. I mean, you just have the industry people, and then you have your media people, like it was before. Once they've already had their time, then what you do is you just start letting everybody else in.
Yeah. I think he said it's like you had one day it was like full on press, right? And then every day, like the first 2 hours would be press, then the rest for the fans. That could work because I'm guessing the ESA wants to make money, so you can't really begrudge them that. And now things are different. Now you have a bunch of influencers. Like basically, people don't just get their information from journalists anymore, right? So
Exactly.
they need to have these like influencer people in there. So I get that E3 needs to change, but at the same time, you could look at other models to see how you could actually do a public show much better. This is a fucking mess.
A lot of people call this one like a test.
Yeah.
A test for what's to come. But I feel like, listen, you guys, you already have two shows that do very similar sorts of things. Why aren't we looking at those? Why aren't we trying? Why are we playing test? Let's test it. Even the people that I've talked to who work in the industry are a little bit annoyed about the fact that each year it changes. So like now, like last year, it was like the year and the year before that it was like 15 and 16 was the protractor or progenitor program.
Yeah, protractor,
or whatever the hell you want to call it, is where they gave every single company on the show floor X amount of badges to invite people in. So that sort of stuff, and now they're just allowing people to buy them. Again, you got to think about it this way. Like, I've kind of worked both sides of this thing a little bit.
Yeah.
Where now I'm kind of just going because I can go. But and just maybe talk to a couple of business and stuff like that. But I've also been on the other side where it's like the media side where you're like, you have to be there at your appointments. You have to do be there to get all your things. Play as many games and then report about them on your sites. And now I always I liken this. We were talking about this in the street. I don't know when we were going to get to food, and I was like, it's like being paid to sweep the ground, right? And then having a bunch of people standing in your way, preventing you from doing your job.
Yeah, it's
your
fucking
job is
dumb.
to pick up everything off the ground and clean everything up. But yet, no, you have people constantly stepping down and getting in your way when you really want to just have it to a point where you can just do what you need to do. And I think that's the biggest issue here.
Yeah, and the other thing is and we were talking about this before when we were also trying to get food. Mm-hmm. Basically, a lot of the guys, because there's some people, and it's fucking dumb. So some people coming at me saying that I'm acting like an elitist, right? Because I'm complaining. It's like, bro, you don't understand, because they're looking at it, and I'm going to be honest, they're looking at it from a very selfish way, right? They're looking at it like, oh, yeah, the fans get to see the games, and that's it. It's like, you guys are kind of missing the narrative here, right? Like, obviously, sites like IGN, GameSpot, Polygon, whatever, they don't need to worry about the fucking crowds, right? They're going to get the coverage, whatever. It's guys like us, right, that suffer. Because what if you're not part of a big site and you have to go on these lines to play these games, right? Now you have to be on there for hours. I'm not exaggerating, like 2 or 3 hours just to play a fucking game. That's wasted time,
That's time you could be using to write your articles. That's time you could be using to put your videos together if you're doing any sort of videos. It really doesn't help a lot of people when you have to deal with a lot of this stuff, especially when you're trying to cover the damn thing.
Yeah, like I remember the first year I went to E3, right? Covered 12 games, right? Mm-hmm. Because I could just go up there and just play them. And the other thing is, because it's just a bunch of casuals, they stop, they gawk, all that shit. Even before when E3 was even at its most packed, people were always moving because they got appointments to go to. Mm-hmm. Like to me, I think you're. I'm just being honest, right? I think you're kind of ruining E3 by having all these people in there like that. There's better ways of doing it, Yeah. So that was pretty fucked up. But while I'm here, I'm gonna pull up the chat. So forgive me if you hear us talking again.
So one thing that happened to me earlier on today. I'm just gonna vamp a little bit. So it's like one thing that happened. Assassin's Creed Origins.
Watch the full premiere trailer now on YouTube.
Yeah, right.
All right.
But there we go. I'm here. I'm gonna pull up the chat. So yeah, I told you it was gonna happen. I can't even mute this shit. There we go. All right, go ahead. Talk.
Why you just turn the volume down?
Because you can't do it on here for some reason.
Why can't you just turn up the volume?
Too hard.
So anyway, I'm vamping a bit. So yeah, when we first came in, at least for me, what happened is I knew there was going to be a crazy line because the last year there had been a crazy line I had to deal with too. So I said, you know what? Rather than deal with that line, I'm going to get on this Sony PlayStation Gear line, which is the PlayStation Store that they have. Like they call it a pop store, where it's just like a store that just shows up for a little while and then it is gone. So I heard that there was going to be a Death Stranding shirt and all kinds of other really cool stuff that was going to be exclusive to the show. So I decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to wait on this line. I cut to an hour later, and I finally get in. There's a huge line that wrapped around the whole thing. I even, while I was there, actually met up with Young. Yeah, he was he was doing his little thing where he was live blogging or recording some content for himself to edit later. And I was like, hey, what's up, man? Just telling him what's that. And he's like, yo, dude, this thing is long. I'm like, yeah, man, it's crazy long. And I'm like, I hope we can get get some merchandise because it's nuts. So after an hour, I finally get in, and I wasn't looking for a Kojima Production shirt, but the Kojima Production shirt sold out. And while it took me an hour to get into the actual place.
Oh man,
they sold out of every single one of them.
That's crazy. By the way, a quick thing here. SN Rashid, he's in the chat. He's like, Tony, please go play Days Gone. You can pay me to go near that fucking Sony booth. Not this year.
Oh man,
you think it's bad, man? Like the Sony and Nintendo booths you ain't get if you're gonna play a game like with Sony, you have to like use a fucking app or something.
You have to log it into an app or something like that.
And when Nintendo, wait on that line.
Yeah, there is this this crazy wrapping line that goes through the whole thing in order to play the Mario game. It's nuts.
It's fucking it's fucking bullshit. As far as I'm concerned, I'll tell you about some of the games I did play. I'm not going to go too deep into it, even though I don't think there's an embargo. Not really. E3's never really had embargoes like that, to be honest.
Well, no.
You know?
I mean, the thing is that you're not seeing anything like that's super not known.
Yeah. So this is pretty cool. So I had an appointment to go check out Shadow of War, right? And they put us in the little theater or whatever. I'm like, okay, I want to watch this trailer, basically, but they ran us through it. The person that played it died. That wasn't supposed to happen. Kind of a repeat of what happened when I checked out Shadow of Mordor. And then afterwards, my man Jeremy from Warner Bros. Like, hey, you want to play the game? And I'm like, yes, I do want to play the game. Nice. So I played the game. I played it for like a good half an hour.
Nice.
Did a bunch of stuff. Like I did a story mission. I was more about stealth. I did another one where I had to like fight all these like crazy beasts and stuff. And what I played was completely different than the demo they showed us. The demo they showed us was like a tower siege. Like, they show you the hierarchy of all the orcs and stuff. And they, so that was pretty cool. You bring all your orcs into battle. But the stuff I played was a little bit more like the first game, where it's like you versus them and stuff. So that was pretty cool. So, but I didn't have time to check out some of the other stuff they had, like cards or whatever. Then after that, I went to go play Bloodstained. Nice. I played that last year. Played again. Igarashi was there. He had a fucking whip, So I played that there. Then I played Indivisible. The game's still looking really good. They added a bunch of more stuff to it. Then I also played this like other indie game. I think it's called The Last Day in June. Very artsy kind of game and stuff. I don't think it's not a walking sim. Actually, maybe it is a walking simulator, but you actually see the characters there. It's not just first person, So I did that, and then what else did I play? We went to Devolver Digital, Manny and I checked out some VR games. VR Talos Principle. My thing was that it was cool playing Talos Principle in VR. That's a really good puzzle game, but I wish I could just use a normal controller. They had these funky. I don't know what the fuck they were. Those things,
It's those HTC Vive controllers. They're almost like curved forward, and then they have like a circle at the end. You guys probably seen them before.
Yeah, they're
you
weird.
Hold two of them in your hands, and they can kind of replicate guns, or you can kind of do other things.
Yeah, that is true. Because when I played Serious Sam VR, those things actually made a lot of sense. But with Talos Principle, because I'm used to playing it on a controller, I'm like, almost forgot. Agents of Mayhem, man, that is a good fucking game. It's pretty much a spiritual successor to Saints Row. Very interesting because Saints Row 4 had like a couple of different endings, and this was based off one of the endings.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of weird like that. And then this is funny because again, when I went in to play the game, I wasn't exactly sure what I was gonna see. So there was two guys behind me talking. They were like, oh yeah, man, look at this game, man. It's like Overwatch in third person, man. Like this is one of those multiplayer games, right? And I'm like, this is a multiplayer game. Like I was excited about this. What the fuck, So then I start playing a game, and I was talking to one of the I think it was like the senior creative director on it, big guy there, and I was like this is multiplayer. He's like, nope, it's a full on single player narrative game. I'm like, all right, that's it. I'm sold. That's all I need. Like you lost me at multiplayer, but you gained me again at single player. So I played that. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's all I played today. So, but today was probably my busiest day. But tomorrow I only have 2 appointments, but one of them, Bandai Namco, is probably going to have a lot of games. So I hope I play that Dragon Ball Z game.
Yeah.
But what other stories happened to me? There wasn't really like a story kind of like, we were hanging out with Fonzie and stuff. Shout out to Fonzie. He's a big fan of Throwdown.
Yeah.
Shout out to Fonzie and Liz. We were hanging out with all the Coalition fellas, or some of them.
Yep, and we also hung out with our buddies from Chicago.
Yeah, Swan on me. My man Khalif and Sharif. Shout out to Cicero too. He's not here this weird.
Miss you, Cicero.
Yeah, man. What's up with that? Ran into Malik again. My man Will Santiago. A bunch of dudes, man. Good. It was a good, aside from the whole crowd bullshit. like Ice Cube says, man, it was a good day, you know, and the weather was nice finally. It's been fucking so cold in California. What the fuck?
Today was a
you
very nice day.
Yeah.
We also ran into Victor Lucas.
Yes.
From Electric Playground.
That guy is cool.
Huge respect for that guy. We also ran into, who else did we run into? I shook Anthony Carboni's hand and told him how much I liked his work. Anthony Carboni used to do. I can't remember the name of the site that he used to belong to. With Adam Sessler.
Yeah.
And I just said, congratulations on all the hosting duties that he's been doing, because he was doing Star Wars Celebration.
Oh, nice.
Other crazy shit. So I figured
other kind of, I call them cameos. I didn't talk to these guys. I saw Angry Joe. I went right by him, but I didn't say nothing. Mm-hmm. Then we saw Jeremy. I don't know how to say his name. Like
Jeremy Johns.
Yeah, I saw him like doing his thing. That guy's a big gamer. It was interesting seeing without the blazer, because he always has the blazer on.
He always has the blazer on. He's standing in front of a red background. Like, man, I don't recognize you not standing in front of your red background.
Yeah. By the way, I need to give a big shout out to my man Riku's son, who's in the chat. He just reminded me about something we're supposed to talk about. Nintendo.
Oh, yeah.
That happened. I totally forgot about Nintendo. That's how forgettable that fucking thing was.
That's 20. That's somebody used the neuralizer, and it was that actual presentation.
Riku, if you weren't in the chat, I would have forgot. Like, and Nintendo Direct was like, Riku, I know you said the Nintendo won. What did they win? What did they win? Let's just be honest right now, right? You got a fucking JPEG that said Metroid Prime 4, right? What else did you get? You got Mario, whatever,
Mario was coming.
Yeah, that show was coming. Xenoblade, cool, Kirby, all right, whatever.
And a Yoshi game.
And Yoshi was cool, I will give Nintendo props for not showing any 3DS games. I thought the whole thing was going to be nothing but 3DS games. And then did you see how they slid in there? Oh, by the way, we got a real Pokemon game coming, man.
Yeah, they're like the guy from the Pokemon company. He's like, yes, we know that you're very excited about Pokken Tournament, and we would like you to know that a new RPG for the Nintendo Switch will be made.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, so that's the quell your disappointment. But I mean, an announcement is just an announcement. They're not even working on anything. I'm sure like the guys at Game Freaks are just like, wait, what? Okay, sure.
Yeah.
We make those games, right?
Riku said Nintendo won his heart. Shout out to Kid Smooth. he coined that phrase. I met him yesterday. I think I talked about that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, again, I almost forgot about Nintendo because they didn't show anything. But with that said, I will say that's probably the most interesting Nintendo Direct I've ever seen. I was actually able to stay awake through it, because most Nintendo Directs are fucking boring.
Yeah. I feel like, what that Nintendo Direct is? It almost runs the same line as the Microsoft and the Sony one. It's like it's a bunch of stuff that you like, but they're not, what Torrance calls megatons.
Yeah. By the way, Essence asked, did you happen to run into Geo Corsi or Adam Boyce? We didn't run into Adam Boyce, and we didn't run into Geo Corsi. We hung out with Geo Corsi.
Yeah, we hung out with him like 2 days
didn't we
ago.
Tell you guys that story already? So we did with Andrew House, hey, let me tell you this.
Yeah, Andrew House. Again, it's like with that Andrew House thing, like he's just like, I'm like, all right. Andrew House is just like is my buddy for the second in time.
Yeah, we hung out with Gio and a bunch of the other like Sony guys and stuff. Really cool dudes, down to earth and stuff. Like Manny said, like maybe Andrew House thought we were part of Sony because we were dressed like those guys. Like they're dressed like normal,
Yeah, we just look like a bunch of people who just look like we should be in the same location. It's not like all of a sudden I'm wearing like a full-on suit or something.
Yeah,
it looks a little bit awkward. We're just all kind of in the same.
Yeah, because we were all like that day. Like you didn't have your blazer on or anything.
Yeah, I didn't have my blazer.
I didn't even have any button downs that day. But those guys, they were just in t-shirts too and stuff.
So it's always good to see those guys. I mean, here's the thing: like a lot of those guys, they're not. They were talking about all kinds of stuff. Some stuff obviously we can't.
Here's the thing, right? Let me, I'll tell you what they told us, right? Sony is very like compartmentalized, right? Like they didn't even know everything that was gonna be on the show. They were looking forward to their own show, you know, because they don't all know. Yeah, I guess that's a good way of preventing leaks, you know. So
yeah,
that
they
was
haven't
good.
had officially had any leaks since this console, like this part of this console generation, like not like PS3 time. But
Yeah,
everything was just leaked all over the damn place.
yeah. By the way, Riku, since you're in the chat, please enlighten us. How did Nintendo win?
They showed Metroid.
Like I'm trying to go through it. Like how did they win?
They had Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah.
What is it? Fire Emblem.
My man Sunny Knight, what's up? You know, yeah. Riku's probably trolling right now. He has to be like, what did they? How did they win E3 when they had that 25-minute presentation? You know, of games that, like, you know, who the fuck knows when they're coming out. You know, I mean, granted, Sony, you don't know what some of their games are going to come out either, but
they're all
you know,
they're all early 2018.
But Nintendo literally just had either logos or, oh yeah, that's coming.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nothing. You know, nothing really to be impressed about there. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for like day one. You know, that's all the stories we got.
Yeah.
So far,
it's a little dry. We didn't, at least for me, I didn't get to explore the depths of the E3 show floor like I usually get.
Yeah, because you always come back with crazy stories.
Yeah, I usually find some things that are hidden. I mean, I did get to see the Capcom booth. If you guys paid attention to my Twitter, I took a picture with Ultron Sigma.
Yes.
I did.
And I still think you should make that your main profile picture. You're like
just looking pissed off with a pair of sunglasses on. I got to, I was looking around the Capcom booth. They had some really cool stuff sitting around. What is it? Xseed had, which was actually kind of cool. You could actually buy all of their games at their booth,
crazy,
as well as the special editions with all the different parts of it. So
yeah,
like, you could get East, and you could get like the art book, or you could buy East with the soundtrack, or different. You can almost make up your own special edition.
Yeah,
with the different.
I can hear Rika right now. Hey, buy me that shit, nigga.
Yeah. So like, yeah, if you get like, they had all the like the East, all the stuff from the East special edition, but you can buy each part separately. So like, yeah, I don't want that.
Yeah,
I don't want that soundtrack.
Like,
but I do want the map.
Yeah, build your own special edition.
Build your own special edition. And then
crazy.
Square had their thing, and they were selling all their games and all the figures. I swear, I don't think I had been there for that, like in there for that long. Like the show hadn't been running for that long. By the time I already got to the Square booth, they were already sold out of Square, out of Cloud figures and Sora figures from Kingdom Hearts. Like they just had big X's on them.
Man, it's crazy. Yeah, they listen, man. I'm telling you right now, these guys are making money this year.
Yeah,
you know, because think about it, every person's $200 a pop, $240 a pop.
Yeah,
15,000 idiots. You know, yeah, it's money.
Yeah, that's money. So it's like they'll go to the Square booth and they literally just ransack the place.
Yeah.
So we'll see how. I'm gonna look around and see what other places are selling things. I mean, I'm surprised Capcom is not selling anything.
Yeah,
but
man, they'll sell you that big Monster Hunter statue. You know. All right, man. So that's gonna do it for us, man. Thank you for tuning in to another Throwdown from the West Side, the best side. No, it's not. East Side all day, every day. Fuck the West Side, man. All right, man. So once again, I was Tony. That was Manny. We'll see you next time for episode 2. Later.